Hey y'all, it's Dr. Alana, your skills over pills trauma psychiatrist. And I wanted to come on today on this Martin Luther King Day. I have been thinking, reflecting, just come on in the room because we need to have a talk. I'd love to, I'd love to have you here and I'll try to attend to your comments, but I think I would like to share my thoughts on what MLK would think if he saw us today. Now, look, I'm not MLK. So, of course, this is just my version of what I have gotten from exploring and studying and trying to go deeper. Like I get real frustrated when I hear people just go to Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. He had a dream. That's a popular one. Folks like to make it like Martin was all about the kumbaya. But Martin was a fighter, but he was a strategic person. And what he understood was that peace, and or at least peace is something to aspire to, but human nature has a lot of wrestling in it. Okay. So as I listened to Martin today, uh, I had I had some thoughts because a lot of times in the past I've read his speeches and reading is nice, but today I was like, let me go listen to what he was saying because there's something about when you get flavor and when you really hear the person's tone in their delivery. And what I heard as I listened to Brother Martin and listened to how he broke down the problems that was facing the world as he saw it in the civil rights era. So we're talking about the 1950s, 1960s, that America was just deciding that it was going to treat at least its black citizens, Negro citizens, as they said at the time, like basic human beings, right? Like after all these years of preaching that all men are created equal, going to war for emancipation, and all these other factors. I think Brother Mark Lamont Hill did a great job in his MLK speech at St. Sabine, where he pointed out that what Dr. King, excuse me, was really speaking about was the overdue promissory note, the check that has not been cashed in America for America's um, most abused citizenship, Native Americans, Black people, the descendants of Africans. And then when you really start thinking about it, as he did in his growth throughout his career, he began to recognize like, hey, this is a haves versus a have-nots thing. This isn't even about the various different groups of people that are being abused here. This is a systematic situation where capitalism says that the value of this man's time at a certain point can be so much more than the value of this person's time. Now, we all get up and have the same 24 hours here on earth, but the system, the economic system, the cultural system, the social system that we operate in this globe is problematic. And as I was thinking about what do we need to do to go forward from here, because I don't know about y'all, but like we're in a little bundle of insanity right now. If anybody else is feeling like you are stressed, like you're being traumatized, like nobody touching me, but I feel off because of how crazy our society is, I want you to know that that's by design. If you didn't read Project 2025 and the bombardment of things that we are experiencing right now, coming from our federal government, coming from our systems, coming from left and right in our media, we're being bombarded by trauma. You're being bombarded by horror in so many different ways that you can't even comprehend how much your brain is intaking. So fast forward to me, I don't even, I'm not going to even do Martin quotes because I think that's anybody can go look up and uh, read what he really had to say. But what I hear as a trauma psychiatrist is that we need to have a real conversation about racism is a mental health issue. Now, when I'm talking about racism, let's get even more simple to say that any concept where one group of human beings will consider themselves by some trait that they have to be supreme or superior to others, the idea of the supremacy is really the basis of so many of our problems in the world right now that we got to talk about it. Now, I know folks don't like to talk about this kind of stuff, but hey, stay with me for just a minute because it's important. Uh, if we do not have real conversations about how having these identity structures that don't exist in science, but they exist in our mind, and anytime you've been taught something and you believe it so deeply, it will it will be active for you. And we have been taught that we are different races, that there's a black and a white, and we've changed these words over time. There's been colored and Negro, and there's been, we use Anglo, and this is not a meant to be a vocabulary lesson or a word diagram, but hear me out. These divisions that we have are killing us, killing our society. What we're experiencing now is a falling apart of a system that really was never quite put together right in the first place. Because, like, our founders in America said all men are created equal, and then they were like, well, we really didn't mean women. we didn't mean brown folks. We didn't mean it was just all us here in this room who are men. They didn't write it like that though. So we all took that check and we're like, no, no, this is what we didn't get it all the way right in the language, but as we evolve, we understand that the concept needs to change. That to see other human beings as full spiritual beings having a human experience just like you, whether you like them or not, whether they're wearing a skin that you like or not, or the clothing that they wear, or the God that they worship, or the words that they use, the accent that they have. Dr. King was saying we need to work on our self identity, our self control, because our greed, our constant judgments of each other, our inability to see the humanity in each other is what is creating this, is what is driving this false system that upholds so little for a few and so much for others. I find it interesting how there's a direct attack on education and science right now. I mean, they they literally just canceled. The Trump administration announced that they were canceling millions of dollars in addiction and mental health funding, and then they quickly went back on it because the outcry, right, is already chaos. And in the middle of all of the things that are going on right now, they cancel mental health support and dollars. Come on, y'all. At this point, we can't pretend that it's like I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but we can't pretend like this is not a active attack on our mental health. So when I think back to what Martin Luther King and them were going through, they were getting attacked in the streets with dogs. Now, hopefully they don't get there. But listen, we already got the military coming in on Minneapolis, and we have um, other countries currently under threat who are speaking out because of the people who are making decisions in America. This is not a time to be silent. So I said, you know what? Sometimes there's so many things going on in the world that I don't even know what I want to talk about. I don't even know what I want to get on here and say because it's too much. It's too much. But then I said, you know what? Let me just start with this. Let me just start with my little part of being that drop in the bucket that says, we got work to do. This is a global mental health crisis. The fact that we have so much damage happening in society because there are groups of people who believe that only they should be in power across the globe, that only they should be the ones controlling things. They literally are saying these things. And that is a psychosis. That is a mental illness to think that only you have the answers to all the problems, that you should be in control of the lives of other people, whether it's those in your family. You can influence it, but you all want to control thousands, millions, billions. Yeah, this is a sickness and it's a mental illness. And because we are so ignorant as a society, and not ignorant because we didn't want to know, ignorant because no one has taught us. No one has taught us about our mental health, that it's for everyone, that it's important, that it's not an option of not to address it. So, if Dr. King were here with us today, what I'm pretty sure Dr. King would want us to do is improve ourselves. Okay? Improve ourselves. His message was really actually nuanced in many ways, and we've lost some of that nuance in all these years of discussing him. And some of the folks that uphold him right now were the ones that were yelling mad and fussing and cussing, arresting, beating, and belittling in those days. Now, here we are. Unfortunately, there's a new generation of leaders that has to rise up because Dr. King and them not here to carry the torch. It has to be us. It has to be you and I, whoever you are, wherever you are. What are you going to do? Not to just dream of what the next thing is going to be, but actually to manifest it. Because no dream comes true without action. You have to wake up and go do it. So here we are today. And I just want to invite you to one more time remind you who I am. I'm Dr. Alana. I call myself the Skills Over Pills Doc, the trauma psychiatrist. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel to learn more about me and learn more about your brain. This is the most important thing that you can learn today. You can also join our Patreon channel at patreon.com/trauma recovery, and follow me on Facebook and IG so I can get over. Help me on IG especially. I want to get over 4,000 followers. Let's go. All right, y'all. So listen, I just want to drop this for those of you who are in this space like I am, where it's just like, it feels like so much. It feels overwhelming sometimes to think about where we are as a society and how do I fix it. But I have a suggestion. You start with yourself. That's it. You start with you. Sweep up around your own front door. There are things that you believe, ways that you are talking and thinking that are damaged by the society that has raised us and put us in this binary where we think of each other as groups and tribes, and we gangbang all day long. And peace starts from within. We cannot have world peace. We dream of this peace, but listen, it's critical, y'all. We on the verge of World War III. They'll look back on this and this will be, anyway. You understand? So at this point, all we can do is do the work on ourselves. And the faster that we do that work, the more that we tackle it, the more that we challenge ourselves, the faster that we heal. Once again, like, subscribe. I'm Dr. Alana. Peace.